This is Dr. Sadashivam once again with you. Another roundup of current events important from the IAS, IPS, and other competition points of view, and also for corporate executives at senior levels who attend board meetings, who make presentations about company strategy, etc., and for sales professionals. Okay, guys, so a day to cheer. Absolutely, it's been a very exciting June to April to June quarter. We've already started talking about that in my last video. We talked about the GDP growth, and today the mop up of GST has touched 1.48 lakh crores. Absolutely a beautiful point to cheer up. And the other one is the August PMI, which is the Purchase Managers Index, which is also very stable at 56%. Guys, I've put up a detailed video on what Purchase Managers Index is in Dr. Sadashivam's Academy, where you will get to know what it is. But anything above 50% is supposed to be expansionary, and that's a beautiful sign, right? In fact, PMI is at an all-time high for the last 8 months. Absolutely a cause for cheer. Guys, we have been talking about this windfall tax. Now, crude windfall tax has been hiked now. May not be very important for corporate executives, but for IAS, IPS guys who are sitting for competitive examinations, is extremely important, because crude is a very large component of our imports, and it has a direct effect on our current account deficits. Now we are talking about the exports. The windfall tax has been imposed. It has already been there, but it's been hiked to approximately 13,300 rupees per ton. Right. A CESS on ATF. What is ATF? ATF stands for Aviation Turbine Fuel. That's her additional the CESS has been levied, and additional excise duty on diesel has been levied. But these are important from the exam. You can watch the detailed videos to know more about these things. Now, import of Russian crude oil falls. It is down 15%, guys. We will not get into the data nitty-gritties of it, but at a broad level, please understand there are 3 countries in the world. One is Russia, one is Saudi Arabia, one is Iraq, from where we import maximum crude oil as on date, because these things keep changing. Little bit of percentages will go up and come down. Like for example, Russian crude, we have slightly the imports have come down. We are discussing that, so such will happen. But approximately, as a ballpark figure, you can keep in mind that each of these 3 countries, that is Russia, Iraq and Saudi Arabia, they account for 20% of our imports. Remaining 40 is from so many other countries. Right, guys? We will go to the next topic, which is the current event. The rains have been very normal, and except for some places in the northeast, all other places, rain is not going to be normal this year. Why is it important, guys? Rainfall, the monsoon, is extremely important for the growth of economy, because India, broadly all said and done, it's an agri-based economy, and more than 70% of our population depend on agriculture for their livelihood, and that is why agriculture becomes important, and there is no agriculture without rain. That is why we are discussing this. What else? Rain is important, except for some areas in the northeast. It's expected to be normal throughout the country. Now, guys, here we have talked about 3-4 important things. The capital growth is picking up. The GST collections have been 1.48 lakhs, which is an all-time high in the last 8 months. We've talked about the Purchase Managers Index, which is touching 56% expansionary trends. Everything is looking good for India. And today there is a McKinsey's report by their CEO. His name is Bob. His name is Bob. I don't know the second, and he talked very well about India, and outlook of India is extremely bright, and he says India will be the talent factory of the world in the coming years. That's what he says. He says it is not just India's decade. He has gone so far to say that it's going to be India's century. Cause of real cheer for all of us, absolutely. And he also says that 20% of the working population throughout the country throughout the world will come from India. Right guys, another very important, China and India may not be so important for corporate executives, but for people sitting for competitive examinations, very important. Please remember a rule which is called as Rule 144 of GFR. GFR stands for General Financial Rules. In fact, it restricts any kind of imports, especially in government projects, imports from neighboring countries like China and other countries which share land border with India. They have put certain restrictions on import, especially for government projects. But now they have relaxed these rules for some CPSEs. What is CPSE? CP is Central Public Sector Enterprises. One of that is, NTPC is an example, for example. And why was that done? Why were certain restrictions put? In order to promote Atmanirbhar, promoting our own local industries. But now they have exempted that, because it does not mean that if you stop the imports, we will become better at Atmanirbhar. Certain times we need to see what is economically feasible. By importing many times, we are improving our own technology, which will make you competent both price-wise as well as technological-wise in the days and years to come. And that cannot happen without taking foreign technology from other countries who are good in that particular field. So some certain things are exempted. For example, your photovoltaic cells. 4 categories have been exempted. One is your photovoltaic cells, the second is inverters, third is trackers and battery storage issues, etc. Battery storage equipment. Remember these 4. So whenever there are essay questions, there won't be any direct questions saying that what is exempted or not, but some kind of a question will come. International trade, amongst many things, you can add this also, because these things will give weight, right? So that is why I always mention that preparing for competition exams does not mean buying a book 2 months before the examination and going through the whole. Yes, that is required, but that is for revision on a daily basis. Like we eat, like we exercise, we take bath, keeping abreast of what is happening in the country and outside is extremely important, guys. So that is why I'm saying, just a small little data, we have approximately 360 CPSEs in the country. CPSEs, Central Public Sector Enterprises. Just some more important news. 7 Adani companies we are going to talk about, and those companies are your Adani Enterprises, Adani Green, Adani Ports, Adani Power, Adani Total Gas, Adani Transmission and Adani Wilmar. We're going to talk about these 7 companies of Adani. Guys, let's talk about Adani. With a fortune of approximately $142 billion, our Adani becomes the 3rd richest person in the world. Something to be so proud of. Guys, it is these industrialists, these entrepreneurs who create jobs, who invest in industries, develop that place, contribute to urbanization and generating lakhs of jobs. Lakhs of people work for Adani Enterprises. And it is not just those lakh employees. So many people are dependent on them. That is direct manpower. That you have indirect manpower. So they play a very important role in job generation. Now, Adani companies have contributed 79% of India's mid-cap gains. Let me repeat that for you guys. Adani Group companies have contributed 79% of India's mid-cap gain. Let me tell you that. There are lots and lots of people who keep crying foul, who talk bad about Adani, bad about Ambani. Guys, if they have made money, they have made money for the masses. People who have invested in Adani shares, they've all become big. They have all become big. Right? They have made huge amount of money, right? Then we are going to talk about something about the credit growth. I've talked about credit growth in lots and lots of videos, guys. So to talk about credit growth, very plus point for India. Loans to the industry hits an all high. We all know inflation is a concern, but at the same time, whenever there is a problem, there is always a solution. Whenever one door closes, there's another door that opens out, and that is what is credit growth. Right since the COVID period, we have been seeing that most corporates were deleveraging. Deleveraging typically means paying off their loans, not taking any loans from the banks, not reinvesting them. That's not good for the economy, guys. Any banking system provides that impetus and focus to the economy. That's a macroeconomic subject, because the whole subject of macroeconomics rests on four important pillars, which is savings, investments, consumption, employment. These are the four important things from a macroeconomic perspective. It is the banking system that acts as a catalyst to make improvements on all these four important pillars of macroeconomics. Right. So where does banks make money? What is their revenue model? Simple. Taking money from people at lower interest rates and then lending them to corporates at slightly a bigger, higher interest rates, and that becomes the profitability of the bank. And what do corporates do with that money? They put up industries. They generate jobs. People work in those companies. They get paid. They spend. Consumption. Once again, capacity expansion. Demand increase. And once again, so this is a virtuous cycle of macroeconomics, simply speaking. Circular flow of money is another concept. This is circular flow of economics, where you have pump priming. Detailed videos are available. This is a snapshot video, so I don't want to get into those details. So to that extent, the loans to the industry hits an all-time high. So those corporate companies which were deleveraging have once again started re-leveraging. Right, there has been a 10% expansion. So those of you who are interested to look at the figures, let me tell you, the loans to industries crosses 32 trillion rupees. 32 trillion rupees, not dollars, this year, and that's say 10-15% expansion compared to the last 1 or 2 years. Right, guys, we're going to talk about an important aspect of Sensex. Yesterday Sensex fell down. Guys, I've talked about volatility in the last 1 year, but in the last 1 week, if you see, things are tremendous. Let me tell you that it is tremendous. On Monday, there was a big fall, and on Tuesday, unprecedented rise to the tune of 300-400 points. And once again, the market fell like anything yesterday. And today the market is highly volatile. This is what we are talking about. Because everything is triggered by one statement of the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, who said that they will keep on increasing the interest rates irrespective of whatever is the economic growth. So those statements, they create that hell. It's happening at the global level. Everywhere it is happening, right? Yesterday, let me also tell you, FPIs, which is the foreign portfolio investors, sold more than $3,000 worth of stocks. Money has gone out, guys. So this is how the stock market is. Detail in terms of how should you handle this crisis, how you should manage this volatility, what is risk management, what are some of the strategies that you can use, especially as far as options are concerned. I'm not an equity specialist, I'm an option specialist, especially option selling. Any of you who are interested, I will be putting up separate videos in Shubhlab channel. Okay guys, this is Dr. Sadashivam signing off till we meet again. Bye bye, Jai Hind.